Yo, what's up, everybody? Who's in the chat? Drop a comment. Probably going to talk about how to grow on YouTube maybe in this video a little bit. Whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about new gear coming out. We can talk about best catches, whatever, what's biting. It's all good. Drop a comment. Got the other device here. I tried a live stream in the past, but it's kind of tricky to see all the chats without having a second device. They pop up so quickly. I was doing a night fishing session at the time, and yeah, man, it was like super tricky to manage that and the fishing, especially at night. But yeah, we've got two people in right now. Drop a comment, guys. Come on, say hi. Let's see. Got a message. What's up? What is up? It's Saturday night. Interesting way to spend a Saturday night, but got a little bit of free time, so I thought I would jump on here and just give it a crack. Got this little setup back here that I've had for a little while, maybe 2 months. Just trying to get something nice for the background, just to do some sort of videos like this and some short form content. Whack all the gear up there. Obviously, as you can see, quite a few different reels up there. And I've got more that I don't have the boxes for, and some of the bad looking ones I don't have. Hey, what's up, Triplets, little boy fishing from the Philippines? What's up, man? What time is it in the Philippines right now? I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna say it's like 5:17 p.m., something like that. I think you're about maybe 4 hours behind. I don't know, just guessing, maybe not. Hey, what's up, the goat of editing? Hey, man. Big like done us. Cool, thanks, man. You got any fishing questions or anything like that? Oh, 36 people in the chat. Yeah, hey, man. Hey, the goat of editing. Do you edit YouTube videos for a profession, or what's up with that? Because yeah, it's interesting gig. Like when I started the YouTube channel about 3.5 years ago, obviously absolutely no editing experience, and even now, even though my level has grown heaps since back then, but still the level compared to the top guys, it's hard to compete. I mean, you need a lot of time, more cameras, obviously, having extra cameras, drone footage, all that kind of thing is good, but the editing aspect is really crucial. And I'm learning little things time by time, like J cuts and L cuts and stuff with the music kicking in early before the next clip and stuff like that. So yeah, what kind of content do you edit? Go to editing. Are you on like one of those websites like Fiverr or something like that, where random people can hire you to do jobs mainly for YouTube, or is it for like weddings and stuff like that? Trying to look at the chat down here, and then the camera's up there, so maybe my eyes aren't necessarily looking at soccer. Oh yeah. What country are you in? I can't see a picture too well. Soccer, do they call it soccer in India? Maybe. We call it soccer here in Australia, just like they do in the US, because we have football, which is Australian football, which is totally different. Yeah, soccer videos, they're pretty huge. Seeing a lot of like YouTube short stuff with Ronaldo and Messi, and going absolutely viral. So yeah, soccer videos are absolutely huge. Any fishing related questions or anything like that? Oh, you're in the USA? Yeah, man, soccer. We've both got our own football. So whereabouts are you in the USA? I am down in the southeastern part of Australia. Not quite Tasmania, but yeah, just above Tasmania, sort of near Melbourne, if you would know that. But do you reckon you'll do a review of that U-Fish blue rod at some point? I don't have it at the moment, but probably. It's a pretty good price. I think it's only about 45 Australian dollars. And today I actually scoped out this like rock fishing spot, which is in my town, and it's somewhere that I've always walked around there a few times. But I thought it was a marine sanctuary right there. But a friend of mine said, you know, he showed me the cutoff point, and it's actually outside of the zone of the marine sanctuary. So I did a little bit of scoping out there to find, you know, what is a good cliff, because there's a lot of, you know, shallow bits and a lot of weed here and there. And I think I found a pretty good spot. So I'm going to be doing some sort of like heavier rock fishing, and that U-fish rod, I'd definitely like to try out. That was probably when I started looking for a like a heavier rod recently. The U-fish one was the first one I was interested in, but just coincidentally, Sileus reached out to me maybe after like a week of contemplating getting it. And they have the Over King and the, I forget the name of the other rod, but they're very similar to the U-fish. So I got that. Haven't used it a ton. I got it about a month ago, and I've used it maybe twice, I think. But really want to get into that because beach fishing and rock fishing is pretty big in Australia compared to ultralight and BFS fishing. So, you know, I'm never going to abandon the BFS and ultralight, but you know, in the future, I'll probably, you know, expand and do a little bit of beach fishing, a little bit of rock fishing, do a little bit of something different, try to, you know, cater to a bigger audience in Australia, pretty much. But most of my viewers are not in Australia, believe it or not. I think Australia is something like the 10th highest viewership. I mean, yeah, it has a small population relative to the rest of the world, but yeah, it's probably about 10th. I think the top are like Philippines is definitely up there. I think that might be number 3. Yeah, a lot of Asian countries are in that top 10, and USA is higher than Australia as well. So yeah, whereabouts in the USA are you good of editing? I'm pretty good with my US geography. Uh, so yeah, if you're still in the chat, whereabouts are you in the USA? Yeah, I want to talk about a couple of new reels that are coming out. Well, they actually have dropped on AliExpress. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but you know, within a couple of days, I got sent some info by CSIR about 3 days ago, showing some new reels that were coming out, and then yeah, and then they've already dropped straight away pretty much. And that is, I don't remember the names of them. There's the DC reel. I posted them on the community page. The one that's mainly red, and it looks like it has the CISO Cast X body. So that's a DC reel, and the price is like 91 Australian dollars plus tax. So it'll be like $100, which is around about 65-ish US. So it's definitely one of those, you know, lower price point DC reels. Probably a little bit of a heavier caster, so we'll have to see what's up with that. I reckon it's probably going to be, if I'm going to predict, it's going to be more of like a 4 grams ish and up caster. Yeah, so we'll see what it's like. But the mechanism looks the same as the Silver Feather XR and the Lufashi, whatever the other ones are. So I've got a feeling that it is the same. Might actually have the XR. I've got like a bunch of rods. I got some, oops, bumped the tripod there. Got a bunch of rods, got some rods there, and I've got some rods in the, you can't really see it, in the corner over there. But I've got a garage with a bunch of rods with reels on them, so not everything is in the room here. But the XR we do have right here. So that is the Silver Feather XR DC, and I probably still think that this is my favorite reel, but haven't really used it a lot. That's because, you know, doing reviews and stuff and only having so much time to review stuff, I don't really get to use it as much as I'd like to. Same goes for rods, but yeah, it's still very smooth. They're just so, like, it's obviously got a bit of line there, hence the noise, but they're just so user friendly. Like, if you're a long rod user like I am, and you want to use a bait caster, even if you're not necessarily, you know, BFS fishing, but you know, you're throwing some kind of lighter stuff and you want to use longer rods in the open water, they're just so good, just because they're just so user friendly. You can just, you know, rip a cast as you would with a spinning reel with 2 hands, whatever, and just no fuss at all, not sacrifice any casting distance, anything like that. Yeah, like hopefully the Seesaw reel is kind of in this league, but yeah, I don't think it may not be as smooth and as refined. Like it shouldn't be for the price, because this one is like $200, and then yeah, it's like more than double the price of the other one. So you know, you can't expect the other one to be as good as this, but I'm guessing the other one is a bit of a heavier caster, more like 4 grams and up, whereas you know, this can do 2, but because I'm using it on a long rod, I'm not really throwing that kind of weight around too much. We'll put that back. If you've got any more questions, guys, drop it in the comments. I'd really like to chat. We can chat about you know, gear reviews and what should I buy and stuff like that. That's cool. Or if you have any questions on, you know, starting a YouTube channel or anything like that, because that is one of my passions. I mean, like if you're serious about content creation, like I'm no big YouTuber or social media star or anything like that, but you know, if you want to progress, obviously you got to take it a little bit seriously, do a little bit of research and that type of thing. So we'll put that back. I guess an easy thing to talk about right now, we can talk about kind of like what's on the shelf and stuff like that. What do we got here? We've got the what is that? Cast King Kestrel SFS reel there. Cast King, it's so hard to remember all of the gear. The Cast King Royal Legend Pro. Surinoi Kingfisher, that's the Silius Ash Moon. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video on the Silius Ash Moon. It feels really good. Like it reminds me a lot of that XDC reel, just like its smoothness, and when you cast, it's kind of feels like, yeah, it just feels smooth to cast. Like it's almost like if you've ever casted off a lure and it snaps off and it's just like some weightlessness on the cast, even though obviously you feel the line snap and stuff like that, but that kind of weightless feeling, it has that kind of feeling. But that's also a little bit of a slightly heavier casting reel that's, you know, probably better on a longer rod, or maybe a medium light rod-ish, something like that. Not super BFS-y. Well, it depends what you classify as BFS, because it's not going to be that good at casting. Well, I don't think it's good at casting 1 gram, and especially, you know, if you consider the price, there's definitely way better options. Like another reel that I've got coming up, and it's probably not up there. I don't think it is. Mm, yeah, the reason why I haven't put it up there is because the box is a bit ugly. It's that guy right there. It's Anatono Silver Rhino. Man, that Anatono Silver Rhino, if you're just getting into BFS fishing, or if you need to get a second reel but don't want to spend heaps of money, that is the reel to get. Like no kidding, it's as good, it's possibly as good as the High Star Aurora Air in terms of its casting, and I really rate that one in terms of its light casting. But yeah, even if it isn't, let's say it's like, even if it's, you know, 5% less, the build quality is good. It's the build quality is better than the High Star Aurora Air was when I got the reel and when many others got the reel, when there was some like quality control issues and stuff like that. Out of the box, it definitely does feel better. So, and the price is ridiculous. It's 41 Australian dollars, so that's around 30 US. So it's ridiculous, because the Aurora Air and the Solo King Acura, which were previously, you know, the budget, ultra budget, if we can say that, BFS Kings, they've gone up in price quite a bit lately. They're around about like 65 to maybe $80. Like they're almost double what the Rhino is. So the Rhino is an absolute no-brainer. I'm like 100% confident, even though I've only done a little bit of casting with it. I'm just feeling it out of the box. I'm confident to say that's the king. And then, you know, durability, obviously you got to sort of consider that, but you know, because yeah, with durability, it can be an issue, because there's some Rio Phantom reel, which I have here. This guy here, It does cast pretty light, pretty good, and it is cheap. It is like under 30 Australian dollars. But this one, and also another person I know who has one, the drag, click, and mech on both of them just broke. Like a mate of mine, I gave this to a mate of mine, and when it was working, and he only had it for like a month or something like that. And he's like, man, the drag clicker isn't working. Like we can, hold down the drag. It's probably super tight, but no clicking or anything like that. Opened it up, drag clicker mechanism had just like snapped, so it doesn't have the springiness to grip the sides to engage. Have had that exact same problem. Obviously, that drag clicker mechanism is just no good. But there's that reel. Um, I guess, yeah, might as well. I don't want to stop talking because I want to keep it interesting. But drop any questions if you've got them. We've got 19 people in here at the moment. Yeah, so any questions, fishing related, tackle related, yeah, YouTube related, like I mentioned that earlier. If you want to talk about, starting a YouTube channel, filming, or growing on TikTok or whatever the hell you want, just yeah, let me know. I'd love to talk about it. So that's something I'm a little bit passionate about. Yeah, so we'll talk about the other reels up there. That one is the Caesar Zero VX. So that's a few months old. And yeah, that's another thing I'd like to talk about. The Zero VX, they've actually released a new model. Just about 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, I got the details from Caesar about the reel, the spec sheet and the pictures and stuff like that that they put on AliExpress. And, it looks interesting, and it is up on Ali now. And the price, I can't remember the price. I got a feeling it's maybe under $50 Australian, so probably around about the same kind of price as the Zero VX or the Cast Pro. And it's a lighter weight version. It's got the shallow spool, which many of us asked for, including myself. Like, why would you release a Zero reel? You know, Zero kind of suggests maybe lightweight to me, if it didn't have a shallow spool, and especially because they released the Zero rod, which was an ultralight rod. So if you have a Zero reel and a Zero rod, you would want, a reel to suit that rod. So that's what the new Zero 119 is. So 119 grams, it's the same weight as a Silver Feather Air. So that's like, one of the lightest reels on the market still. That's pretty interesting. There's another reel that it's been out a little while, and I think it weighs 97 grams or something like that. I think it's the same reel as the Tiny But Mighty. I forget what it is called on AliExpress, but yeah, that's a crazy reel. I think it's like, I've been tempted to get one, but they only have left-handed retrieve models. So yeah, I'm a right-handed retrieve, and I do have some left-handed retrieve reels, and I just don't really get along with them. Like when you're reeling it in and you're like timing the twitches with the reeling and stuff like that. Like obviously you could get used to it, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, why should I? If I have a right-handed reel, I might as well just use that right-handed reel. But yeah, what else we got there? The CISO Prospect, that's a banger reel. I would say like each, say since I started the channel like 3.5 years ago, I've probably used, I'm gonna say maybe 40 reels or possibly more, and probably about the same for rods. And there's reels that you get, and you do the testing, and some are, they're very good for the price point, or they have certain characteristics which might suit certain people, like the Zero VX, for example, a bit of a deeper spool, but not the lightest caster. So it's like, but it's cheap, and the quality is good. So it's like, you've got some pros and cons about that reel. And yeah, basically what I'm getting at is, when you test like 40 reels per year, there's obviously some that sort of stay in the rotation, some you're happy just to give to somebody, and then some that just sit on the shelf and don't get used at all. But yeah, back to the Prospect, that is a reel that is staying in the rotation. And around about 3 weeks ago, I did a video on the Kuying Hangetsu rod, that 8'2", 8'2" or 3", 8'3", I think it is. medium light rod that casts something like 1 to 26 grams, and it's a sick rod. Like, you know, I'm loving my BFS fishing, but I'm very tempted to always use that rod in the like open water fishing scenario where I want long casting and stuff like that. Um, and on that rod, I had the Caesar Tinghe, that guy there, and great reel, but is not quite as good as that one, even though that one is like double the price of the Tinghe. Yeah, I think I might put that guy onto the Hangetsu rod, and sort of leave it on there for now, and then maybe whack the Tinghe on something else, like something slightly cheaper maybe, because the Tinghe is like a sub $30 reel, which is an absolute banger. Like, maybe at the end of the year I should do some sort of like awards show where I award, you know, best spinning reel under this price and this and that, and both of those would be getting awards, to be honest. Pretty happy with those. The Commando Power, so the Commando is like a CISO Commando Power. The Commando is a pretty old reel. I had a variant of the Commando like 2 years ago. It's a heavier bait caster reel, which I don't get to use that often because that's not really my type of fishing. But yeah, and actually they sent me the left-handed model, so that's one that I haven't really used. I've spooled it up and casted it just to, you know, feel what it's like and stuff like that. And if someone asks me a question about it, I can give my opinion on it. But yeah, that's one that I haven't used. I think yeah, it's this guy right here. Actually, might as well, yeah, take a look at it. Something interesting. It's like gunmetal gray. It's got the TPE handle knobs, got some red accents, got some like red details on there. Not a fan of the pink on the spool. Like, I don't mind pink line, but it's just something that, like, the right diameter line for this reel, and that's sort of what I had on hand, so just whacked it on there. But yeah, it's lefty retrieve. It's, you know, I haven't spun it for a while. It is very smooth. Yeah, feels like a great reel. You know, maybe in the future I'd consider getting the right-handed model for something like that, but you know, there's only so much stuff that you can test, and you know, if you're not going to use it, and it's not really worth getting. Put that back there. Hopefully that stays there. What else we got? We've got a couple of reels. Oh, we got some Daiwa reels there. Got the that's a Daiwa Laguna. That's a Daiwa. What's that one called? That's that's one of these reels on the shelf here. Maybe that one there. And then a couple of Daiwa Emeraldus reels, which I love. Yeah, this is that Daiwa reel, this small one. It's a pretty damn small reel. It's a JDM reel. It is called the, come on, has it got the name on it? That's the MR750. So it's got it on the spool right there, MR750. It's a small reel. Like, yeah, like I've got larger than average hands, but you know, it's a pretty small reel. Like, even you know, there's different 1,000 size reels and stuff like that. You know, some are bigger than others. Some 1,000 size reels have 500 sized bodies on them, but this is a true, you know, small reel. Look, the handle is just like so free. It feels a little bit, it's actually like a budget JDM reel. It's one of the very first ones I got when I got into BFS fishing, actually. Just like the aesthetic of it. Maybe it's a little bit difficult to see, but yeah, it's green. Yeah, it just, I haven't really used it for a while. You might be able to hear, it doesn't sound the best. It's very low resistance, but it's not necessarily buttery or anything like that. But yeah, that's a cool reel. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll use it again. You can see like some of that silver paint has chipped off there. It looks kind of nasty, but I'll put that back there. And yeah, I guess a couple of more reels on there we'll talk about. Yeah, those two guys there, they're the Silver Feather Air and the Exa. So the Silver Feather Air, that was the first reel that I got that I would say was kind of real high performance. I did get the Black Knight 2, which is a Dark Wolf Ultra variant, and that was my first reel. And then I got the CISO Cast X was my second reel. Maybe, I don't know if that was my third reel, but I could definitely tell a difference in the for comparing the Black Knight 2 to that guy. There was definitely a difference in maybe not necessarily casting distance or anything like that, but just the ease of use, like the braking system and everything. That was really good. And it was 119 grams, which at the time, for a very short period of time, was the lightest reel on the market. And then the Sembo Air came out, which was 117 grams, but that reel was not good. They took them off AliExpress for maybe a long time, like 6 months or more, and they reappeared. I don't know if they reappeared and they like tinkered with it, because I know tons of people contacted them after getting that reel and saying, I've got this problem, I got that problem, and I don't know if they made some adjustments to the new version. No, I'm not really tempted to buy another one and see, because it's like whatever. It's kind of like old news, that reel now. But yeah, that reel was an absolute dud. Actually casts pretty good, but it's a dud. You can make some modifications to it. Actually, a friend of mine has that reel now, and he really loves it because I made some modifications to it. All the issue was like with the spool tension knob, it would just be super loose. Like you could just, unless you really cranked it, it would be loose. So what I ended up doing, I put a couple of O-rings in there just to sort of like fill up the gap a little bit, and that sort of worked. It made it manageable, but you wouldn't really want to be adjusting the spool tension too much. But I believe he chucked a spring in there, which is a genius idea, just to keep constant tension on the spool tension knob and not have the spool kind of like shifting around and stuff. And it's going really good. I should have a cast with it actually next time I see him. What reel have we got up there? Oh yeah, it's the High Star Aurora Air is the top one, and that's the Black Knight 2, and that's the High Star GIU 99, and that's the GIU Carbon, or vice versa. More or less the same reel. GIU Carbon is like slightly, ever so slightly lighter. It's like 1 gram lighter. I do have that reel on my what may be my favorite rod, apart from the Hangetsu, in terms of a casting rod. A rod, it was probably the first. It was the first really good long BFS rod that I ever bought, and that's a Pure Lure Zero. What did I have before that? Because I was always looking online for long rods that had low casting weights for bait casters, which is kind of not that common. But yeah, I had the Mavlos Resolute for a while. That was a 6'9" or 10 rod, and that was good for the money, definitely. But the Pure Lure Zero is, obviously a step above and a bit of a different rod, fast rod. It's got like a super, super strong backbone. Like the first, almost, well, definitely the first half, if not 2/3 of the rod are quite stiff, and it's very fast action, which is good for plastics when you're just twitching them, retrieving them slowly, just trying to sit in an area of the water column, like whether it's the top third or middle or bottom third, and just just twitch it, and just say if there's like weed on the bottom or whatever, and then you just want to flirt with that little, say no more than 2 feet above that weed line, and you just want to just twitch that lure to, you get it to fall, and then you just give it a little twitch, keep it above the weed line, no snags, but you're still in that, strike zone, because there may be some fish in that weedy area. Any more questions, guys? We'll probably cut this off at the 1 hour point as an absolute maximum. We've gone now 31 minutes. That's crazy. I can't believe I've been speaking non-stop for 31 minutes. But then again, those AliExpress deal videos and stuff like that, they sometimes go pretty long. And there has been some times where I've recorded it and like either the audio just didn't record, or I had some, I can't remember what the other problem was, but I went through like 45 different tabs of rods and reels and whatever else, and only to realize, oh, there's no audio or whatever. And it does make the second recording a little bit easier because you've already got it in your mind what you're going to say. But yeah, that was like an hour and a half of just like blah, 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 blah. So yeah, come on, you got any more questions, guys? Fishing related questions, tackle related questions, YouTube related questions. Maybe let's talk about YouTube a little bit, if any of you guys are interested. So I started the channel on the 1st of January, what would it have been, 22? Yeah, 2022. So yeah, like 3.5 years deep now. Basically, I moved house down to the coast. Grew up in the city and I moved inland and lived inland for a while. And then luckily, with work, I got to move down to the coast, and it's a sick spot here because we've got obviously the ocean being the coast, but we've got the rivers. We've got brown trout in the rivers. We've got lakes with brown trout, with Australian bass, with tiger trout, with Chinook salmon, redfin perch, carp, all that kind of stuff. Like it's all, within an hour or less of here, you can catch a ton of different species. Like literally you could catch a bluefin tuna and a trout on the same day. Like people have done that, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, so basically moved down here and say, well, I live down the coast. Let's restart my love of fishing because when I was a kid, did a lot of fishing with my dad, as that's how a lot of people start. A lot of freshwater fishing, mainly trolling actually the lakes around this area and some other areas of Victoria. And yeah, so got was always, learnt stuff off my old man about fishing and things like that. And then, you grow up and you lose interest, into sports and stuff like that. And then after high school, I got back into fishing, and it was mainly egging or, squid fishing. So that's why I've got some of the emeraldus reels and some other squid stuff. Was heavy into the squid fishing when I lived in Melbourne, and probably went semi regularly for I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And then just like, work and family commitments and stuff like that, I didn't really fish at all for a long time, maybe like 5 years or may have been even longer. But then when I moved down here, I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity to get into fishing because, I live so close to so many great fishing opportunities. So, was doing a little bit of research on what lures people are using and techniques and tackle and stuff like that. So then I thought, well, these guys are actually recording videos as well. I'm catching a few fish down here now on a semi-regular basis at the time. Why don't we just record it? So got the phone and a neck mount that I can attach the phone to, and just started filming and uploading videos. Maybe doing a little bit of editing at the start, not too much, and maybe like within the first 6 months of that is when I really discovered BFS fishing. So probably 3 years ago. And then I'm like, saw videos about BFS fishing online, like BFS fishing, like what is this? Had to search it up, and I'm like, maybe I watched a few videos. I'm sort of, okay, this seems like they're using bait casters, and yeah, eventually I'm like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. Like the bait casting tackle is, it's kind of cool, and it'd be something different, and because it was also seemed to be trending at the time, like 3 years ago. I started to do some got my first BFS reel, like I mentioned before, Black Knight 2, and the first rod was the Ace Hawk AG Venom. Still a good rod. Don't have that rod anymore though. But yeah, then pretty much like after the first year of uploading on YouTube, I think I got to maybe 800 and something subscribers. And then a little bit after that, I think maybe like 3 months or I don't know if it was around about, if it was before or after the end of the first year, that I started doing some AliExpress kind of stuff or review videos in general. Not necessarily, Ali AliExpress stuff, like uploading, deals. What are the best deals and tier lists and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe like after the second year, what did I hear? I looked at my statistics the other week. I was pretty surprised. I think the second, I'm getting this wrong, but like the start of this year, I think I built up to maybe like 2.2 thousand subscribers, and now I'm at, I don't know, 4.7 maybe. So, things are heading in the right direction, and I want to try and expand my fishing, well, both for experience sake by doing different types of fishing, but I definitely want to do some more beach fishing, rock fishing, try and get some bigger saltwater fish land based. That would be really cool. So yeah, that's kind of like the YouTube journey so far. And one thing that I've liked to do is like the YouTube Shorts. Obviously, with YouTube Shorts, it's a good way to get subscribers, but it's it has its pros and cons, because if you get subscribers, then when you release a new video, then obviously YouTube will push the video out to those subscribers, plus whoever else the algorithm sees fit to present that video to. But yeah, so if you post a short and you get like a ton of subscribers, but they're not necessarily interested in your long form content, as it's called, and then like YouTube, pushes your next video out to that audience, and they don't click it because they're not interested in it, then that can have some sort of negative effect on your channel. So yeah, so it's kind of a bit of a balancing act. Like a lot of YouTube advice channels and whatever, they say, if you can, to it would be ideal to have like a shorts channel and a long form channel, so you don't run into that problem. But utilizing shorts is something that I'm doing right now, as I sort of like build up, and plus it's like a video game. Like YouTube is like it's like a reality video game. Instead of shooting or whatever video games, it's like, yeah, you control your character yourself, with your research into the topic, your ideas on videos, your editing, your music, your thumbnails, your descriptions, interacting with your audience, all that kind of thing. And then at the result, the way you win is getting people to watch your stuff, and making friends, which is a big thing. I've met a lot of people, because I've only lived in this area for a few years, but met a lot of people through this channel, like both locals and people from interstate and even overseas. So yeah, that is good. And pretty much the goal of the channel at the start was like, I wonder if I can, get someone to send me some soft plastics. Maybe I could do a review on some soft plastics. That would be really cool. And then from there, it just, kept evolving into, maybe I can, do enough so that YouTube pays for the hobby in a roundabout way, because it can be an expensive hobby, but it also can be cheap. That's why we're doing AliExpress stuff. But yeah, and I guess it's sort of mission accomplished on that part, in terms of like the channel sort of offsetting the cost of the fishing and that type of thing. But obviously doing a YouTube channel, research, going out and fishing and filming it, which takes additional time, the editing process, doing the thumbnail, all that kind of stuff, like it's pretty time consuming. Like if I had a reel that I want to do a review video on, and say I've got like 2-3 hours to go fishing, I'm probably only fishing for say 2 of those 3 hours. The rest of it is like setting up the camera, or thinking about what to say to the camera, setting up the right angle so the lighting looks good, taking some photos for the thumbnail, and then you get home, you upload it onto your computer or whatever, and you edit it, and it can take you know, it can take hours. I mean, you can be quick with it and do a quick job, but you know, I often watch my stuff back and I'm like, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that, and it's just like, honestly, I'm never really happy, and probably a lot of people are never really happy with the end products. Like, something can always be improved, but you just got to like call it. You've just got to say to yourself, like, man, I've spent however many hours doing this. It's good enough. I'm happy enough. Let's just roll with it. So yeah, having basically the moral of the story is like, you know, the time fishing, the time editing. You know, you could put in, say, 6 hours, like, say, you know, you do the 3 hours fishing, the editing, and then the whatever else, the you know, the voiceovers, maybe if you add voiceovers to the video, do the thumbnail, you think of the title of the video, to get the video to be, you know, seen by as many people as possible. You know, it's, let's say it could take 6 hours. Now, what's 6 hours worth to you? You know, maybe a video may only earn not even $10. Like a long form video that goes for 15 minutes, you might earn $10 off it. Or if it's successful, maybe, you know, maybe in some circumstances I've earned $40 off a video. So, you know, $40 for 6 hours work or whatever it is, you know, obviously it's not worth it if you look at it like that. But the offsetting the hobby just in terms of, you know, restocking lures, buying new line, you know, leader, and any sort of anything else that you need, it, yeah, it covers that. So that's a good thing. And pretty much whatever I earn, I'm always looking for the next purchase. I'm always looking at, you know, what's everyone else going to be interested in. Something that I'm interested in too. I'm not going to review a product that I, you know, have virtually no knowledge on. Like, you know, I'm not going to do some like heavy bait caster reel, which I'm never going to use and never be able to give my real experience and thoughts on it, because, you know, that's not the type of fishing I do. But what's something that I can use, I can give an opinion on, and I think that the audience will also be interested in. Yeah, that is the, yeah. So basically, I'm always looking at AliExpress for those kind of diamonds in the rough, especially like new products that look promising, and oh, the price is like really good. This may be a really killer reel, and then I would be, you know, encouraged to buy that to then, you know, pass on to you guys, and tell you guys and help everyone out, so that they're not, you know, buying stuff that they're not happy with. Because the like the Anatono Silver Rhino, like, I saw the price was good, but I never really needed it, so I didn't buy it for a few months. And Ricardo review, I don't know if you're watching this, but if any of you guys are watching and you're into YouTube, AliExpress, budget fishing tackle, BFS, ultralight tackle, stuff like that, and you're not subscribed to Ricardo Review, then go check him out. His channel is more or less the same sort of stuff as what I do. You know, you could almost say we're rivals, but we're not, we're buddies. But yeah, Ricardo got the Silver Rhino, and he said, yeah, it's a good reel, because we chat together about, you know, what are you looking at buying? You know, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Just to see if our experiences match up, and, you know, if we have any issues with the reels or whatever. Oh, you know, what problem did you have? I had this problem with mine. Oh, they're the same issue. Then obviously we can, you know, tell the viewers to buy or not to buy this reel. And yeah, he was really rating the Silver Rhino and didn't really need it. But recently I'm like, damn, I've got to know. Like, some people are asking me about this reel because they're seeing, say, Ricardo's videos or whoever else. There's a bunch of sort of AliExpress people on YouTube, but there's not a whole heap of English ones really anymore, especially budget ones. There's some European guys and Japanese guys, definitely. But yeah, I'm like, I've got to review this because it's potentially very good. Ricardo says it's good. Let's get it. It's, you know, it's not expensive, so it's no sort of, if it's not that great, then whatever, so be it. Pardon me. But yeah, got the reel, had a few casts with it, and I was really impressed. I was using the, there's a couple of videos I still got to do. I was using the Silius Tangoi Finesse Zoom, which is that yellow rod that extends from I was just seeing if I had it over there. That extends from 5'6" to 6'3". I had that, and I had the Ash Moon because I thought, oh, I've got these two products from Sileus. Why don't we whack them on each other? We can do a video and then try and get some like footage for both of them and get some impressions on both of them. And I just thought the Ash Moon, it's not really suiting this rod, because the rod is a 1 to 10 gram rod, but I probably think it's more of like a 2 to 10 gram, to be honest. But that reel just, you want something that really is good at that 2 gram casting weight to go on that rod, I believe. And yeah, anyway, long story short, I put the Silver Rhino on the Lure Star Spurs, which is an absolutely killer rod. That's another super cheap rod that you've got to check out. It's last time I checked, it was around about 45 Australian dollars, and they do have a 7'6" model, which is, it may be the best 7'6" rod at that sort of casting weight. I think the casting weight it's like 1.7 to, it's pretty high. It's like 17 grams or something. It's like one of those rods where you're like, oh, that doesn't sound right. But it's really good. And I had the Silver Rhino on that. And while I was testing the Ash Moon reel, I'm like, oh, I've got the Silver Rhino. I'll bring it with me. I'll just have a few casts just to see what it's like. And I was very impressed. So yeah, if pretty much if I was just getting into this right now, the Silver Rhino and the Lure Star Spurs as a combo, that would be super good. And that would only cost you could get those, you get a spool of braid, you could get some fluoro, you could get some jig heads, you can get some soft plastics, you could get some lure clips even, and you would come under 100 Australian dollars, which is just crazy. Like a rod like that, if you're to buy it in a retail store here, you're probably looking at, I'm gonna say definitely in the $180 mark range, if not more. So yeah, it's an absolute killer buy. And a couple of weeks ago, I was fishing locally, and I had my Yep Fishing hoodie on. And a guy, he's like, "Oh, Yep Fishing." I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And we were chatting away. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to buy a rod. What should I buy?" And I had the Spurs with me. I'm like, "Yeah, this rod right now is super cheap. I highly recommend it." And then maybe like 2 weeks after seeing him, he sends me a message saying, yeah, I got the rod. It's really good. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, that's what the channel is all about, making recommendations and yeah, saving people money, getting value for money, not only high performance, but value for money, and making the right decision when it comes to buying reels. If you got any more questions, we'll roll with this for 10 more minutes. We've gone for almost 50 minutes now. We'll talk about, what should we talk about? What's coming up next? Maybe tomorrow. I did see that rock ledge kind of near where I live, that looks super juicy for fishing for some heavier stuff. Like I'll probably be using the Sileus Overking rod, which is, I've got the bag there, I'm just having a look. It's a 9-foot medium rod, and it will have you got the box up there. Oh yeah, the Contra Max reel. I got that in 4K size, and I got some P2 on it, I think. So I think I'd give that rod a try there first. But tomorrow I really want to smash out the Sileus Ash Moon baitcaster review. So I'm probably gonna whack that on the 7'11" Surinoya fox hunting, because it's a nice pairing. The Ash Moon is a sort of like a navy blue reel, and the fox hunting has some blue accents, and it's kind of a nice looking match. And I think that reel suits a longer rod, not necessarily like a creek BFS rod, but it's more of a light casting reel for a longer rod, sort of like 3 grams is good. Don't know how heavy it can cast. It can allegedly cast up to 20 grams, but we want to try and smash that video out tomorrow and drop that video by this week. And if I see some more products come out on AliExpress, I may drop another AliExpress video. We've obviously got that Caesar 0119 and the DC reel from Caesar to talk about. Also, they've got a new rod. I know this isn't like Caesar.com, but they've got a few new products. They've dropped a lot of products recently, so that's why I'm talking about them. They've got, I can't remember the name of the rod. It's not the Zero, but they've got a kind of a rod that comes in 4 lengths. It's all got this like carbon fiber detail on the butt section, and that it looks good. But I'm not too happy about the guide count, to be honest. You always want to see at least one more guide on the bait casting versions of rods as opposed to the spinning version, because just how the line sits on the rod sits on the top of the rod as opposed to underneath the rod. So having more guides on the rod's pretty important. Probably having, at least depends on the length, but 2 extra guides sort of near the tip section. Again, depends on the action of the rod. If it's a fast rod, you'd want sort of more on the tip section because that's where the rod's bending the most. But yeah, so there's that rod, but it's unfortunately bait casting wise, I don't think it's going to be ideal. I don't think I would recommend it, especially when there's tons of other better options out there. And Mavlos also have a new rod. It has a strange kind of Chinese name, but that looks kind of interesting too. Don't know the specs off the top of my head, but it's maybe it's like a medium light rod, or maybe it's a light rod. But yeah, that's sort of something interesting, and I'm sure there's going to be some more new products dropping, and there's probably some other ones that I just haven't come across on AliExpress, because it can be tricky to find new stuff, especially if you don't have a lot of experience browsing AliExpress. It can be pretty intimidating, because I know like when I first started looking at Temu, it's like, what's going on here? There's all these pop-ups, this spin the wheel and get the deal and all this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it can be pretty overwhelming. Yeah, if you've got any more questions, let me know. There's 10 of you guys still watching. Come on, where are you from? How long have you been watching? Do you do BFS or ultralight fishing? Drop it in the comments section. Come on, definitely going to give you a shout out if you drop a comment. And even though this live was sort of like a last minute, not a last minute, like I always kind of thought maybe I'd do one, but I just had a little bit of time up my sleeve and thought, oh, screw it, let's just roll with it, let's do it. And yeah, but in the future, I think maybe I'll try and set aside some time and give, like, I don't know, a week's notice and have a set topic to talk about. I'd like to do, whether I do a live on my own or with somebody else, I'm happy to do either, but topics I definitely want to cover in the future for a live stream, probably, and these are topics that I'd have to do some thinking about and have some dot points, because I want to sort of have all my facts straight and stuff before I talk about anything. But I definitely want to do one on YouTube growth, and how to start a YouTube channel, a fishing channel, and any sort of tips like that. And then I would do one on budget BFS fishing tackle, rods and reels. Maybe I'll do a rod specific one, a reel specific one, and then maybe the same for ultralight spinning tackle. Do a rod and a reel specific one, and then maybe talk about fishing techniques, what I do, because there is sort of like, in Australia we don't really, like, one topic that I eventually want to do a video on, and I've been thinking about it for months, not necessarily a live, but just a regular video, is the Cheb rig, and, well, specifically the Cheb rig, but not only that, and maybe like the drop shot rig and even the Texas rig. That's just like, fishing techniques that very, 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 very few people use in Australia. Like, even if you, all the anglers in Australia, I can't remember, there is a figure on, how many anglers there are in Australia. It's like 6 million, I think. And let's say, like 100,000 of those are dedicated lure anglers, like myself. I can't remember the last time I used bait, but some situations I'm kind of tempted, like the rocks I was looking at today. I'll be tempted to maybe take 2 rods and throw a bait out as well, just to sort of see what's there. But yeah, one video I want to do in the future is definitely about the Cheb rig, because a lot of people just use regular jig heads here in Australia. When they start off, they've got their 1/8, 1/16, 1/12 ounce jig heads with number 2 1 hooks, 1/0 hooks, whatever. But they're really missing out on the Cheb rig and what it offers. Just a teaser, I guess. Talk about sort of like some of the things I have off the top of my head. So the Cheb rig, the beauty of it is that, well, let's talk about what it is for starters. Basically, use an EWG hook. So it's like a hook that you can rig your soft plastic weedlessly, so that it has some sort of snag resistance. You could put any hook on it really, but ideally you want to put that hook on it. So okay, boom, there's one advantage we've got over a traditional jig head. Now the Cheb weight itself, the reason why it's called the Cheb rig is the Cheb weight. Basically, it's a tungsten or a lead ball that you attach. There's like the ball, and then there's a kind of like a rod that goes through it. You attach your hook to one end of the loop that goes through it, and then on the other end you tie your main line, and then in the middle you have your weight. So the beauty about this is you can do more or less any combination of hook size and the weight. So obviously with jig heads, you cannot find a 1/6 ounce jig head in a number 4 hook. It's like the hook is, the weight on the jig head would be like this, and then the hook would be so small, like it just. But there's some scenarios where you may want to use that. Maybe you're targeting fish with smaller mouths, or if you just want to get a bite and you just want to go small, but there's tons of current, so you need the weight, but you also need the smaller hook. So you often not going to find that in a traditional jig head. So yeah, so you've got that, the combination, the ability to be able to mix and match both the hook size and the weight of the presentation. So we've got, it's weedless. You can mix and match hook size and the weight, sort of anything you want. Like there's 20 gram Cheb weights, and there's like 0.5 gram Cheb weights, and you can put them onto more or less any hook you want. So there's that, but also there's one more additional thing. The thing that it has over the Ned head, because typically the Cheb rig is more of a bottom fishing rig, whereas you might want to drag it on the bottom or hop it on the bottom. The advantage that this has over the Ned rig, which is a jig head that has a flat bottom on it, so when the weight hits the water and hits the bottom, the lure stays upright. So that can be good, like if you're fishing really slowly, it hits the bottom, it's moving in the current, maybe the tail on the grub or the whatever soft plastic lure you're using is moving, and you might tempt to fish, and then you might sort of drag it on the bottom or hop it. The advantage that the Cheb rig has over that is because your main line, your leader line, and your lure clip, or you can attach to the Cheb weight via just tying on the main line, or you can use a lure clip. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But the fact that it is the lure, the hook, the Cheb weight, and then the clip are 3 separate things, so that they can pivot independent of each other. So if you're using it on the bottom, not only can you mix and match the weight, because it is has that ability to pivot, it can move a lot more on the bottom, thus give a more realistic looking presentation. Anyway guys, we'll wrap it up there. It has been 1 hour. Thanks for those that watched. Drop a comment, drop a like, and I will catch you in the next one. Catch ya. Where is the button to stop this? Right there. Boom. Yep.